touching me.
Stop
poking me.
She's poking me with her talons.
Stop poking me.
She's got these sharp nails. She's poking at me. She's just poking at me.
Sharp.
I don't even have any. So yeah, it's a little more damaging, violent. Whatever. What's happening, everybody? What's up? It's Sunday live haul. We're back here in good old Nevada, Las Vegas area.
Fabulous Las Vegas.
Fabulous Las Vegas. Where it is nice and warm, although a little chilly at night, I will say, because we got some chilly desert nights here. Anyway, welcome to the show. Good to see all of you in the chat. Let me pull it up over here.
Good, so I can see it.
Sort of. Well, except you don't have her glasses on, so you guys, she refuses to wear her glasses.
They're very uncomfortable.
Oh, but she's so cute with them.
I'm a contact person.
Anyway, but then she'll take them out and not wear them for like a week, which means she can't see anything, which I don't understand because I want to be able to at least see the TV and whatnot. Anyway, guys, it's Sunday live haul. We actually both have stuff to show today. You did some thrift store shopping. It's always a little tough because you send your stuff off to Crystal every week before you get a chance to show it sometimes.
It's true.
But so you had to like race out this morning and go do a little thrift shopping. You picked up a few more things because you were feeling like you had a lackluster collection of stuff to show.
I went to 2 stores this week, but next week I'll have a really good haul, actually, probably for the next 2 weeks, because I sent a bunch of stuff with her. I sent 3 huge totes with her. So
yeah. So, and then I haven't picked anything up this week, but last week before we went to Palm Springs, I had done a big bulk buy at Yesterday's Fits. I also did a big online bulk buy from my buddy Enrique over in New York City. And so I'll talk more about that.
New York City.
Oh, it was about paste picante
That's
sauce.
A stupid commercial, yeah.
And then, so I've got some cool stuff to show you guys because I've been able to process it now and take pictures of everything, so it's all good. But yeah, so the way we usually do the show, we break it into 3 parts. The first part, we go over our real numbers for the last week, our gross numbers, and then some of the costs that go
which, as you
can
can see from the calculations, it's a pretty pathetic week for 2 people, but
for us in particular, based on what we do historically. We understand that everybody's in a different spot with their businesses. In the middle part of our show, we'll look at some sales highlights for the week, some of the cool stuff that we sold. And then, of course, we wrap it up with a haul. But first, let's address really quick the Armageddon that's currently happening in the online selling world of eBay. Because basically, some of you may have noticed that when you look on the Seller Hub and you look at your current listings, the number might be off. It might be quite a bit lower than it normally is. I think it really depends because some of you, basically, here's the deal. And I don't completely understand it, but this is basically what's happening. It is the 28th of February. The month ends today on the 28th. With the way everything works on eBay with good till canceled, you put your listing up, and then after 31 days, it automatically gets ended and then relisted with a new 31-day clock ticking on it. And for some reason, the way that they have it programmed, I don't know why, but for some reason today, they're having to do the whole automatic end relist for the 20th, 29th, the 30th, the 31st, all in one day, and it's causing some major delays. They are working on it. They say that next year that will not be a problem again because they're fixing whatever the issue is. But what that means is, as your stuff is ending, when you look at your time left, as it ends, it's not getting relisted. It's kind of like hanging out there in the ether. And so it looks like they're missing listings.
It's not in unsold either. So it's
or ended listings.
It's just it's ending, and it will eventually be relisted. It'll catch up within the next, I don't know, several hours or day or two, whatever it takes. But the listings are not lost. Do not panic. Yeah. We have confirmation from eBay.
They're saying it should be fixed in the next 24 hours.
Yes. Harry just responded to the post in our group. Harry Temkin from eBay, and that's what he said.
Yeah.
Don't enter your listings manually.
I didn't see his comment, but from what I saw that he did say is basically backing up what I got from Concierge, which is good because it's good to hear that everybody's kind of on the same page. So at least the guy I talked to in Concierge explained it basically what Harry's saying. It should be fixed. But yeah, and it just depends on like how much you list, how often you list. I just happen to, because I list just about every day and I've been doing that for years, I have a lot of listings that are ending today.
I have 400 because somewhere along the line, I ended a bunch and probably did a sell similar in a huge batch. It wasn't necessarily last month. It could have been 6 months ago, but it ended that I have on the last day of the month. Apparently, I have 460 some odd listings that end and renew. And that's a huge chunk. So thankfully, I have all of my listings on my List Perfectly account, just in case something funky happened with eBay. But no, actually that was, I have it there to more easily manage my listings. So they're not lost for good. God forbid anything happens. The issue with me is that I'd have to go through every single listing one at a time to figure out which ones dropped off and didn't get renewed. But most likely that's not what's going to happen. So I'm trying not to panic. I'm not listing anything new today. I'm just kind of let it go.
Yeah. So if you see your listing numbers that keep dropping, it's really not, that's what's happening. Those listings have not disappeared forever, because I checked a couple that were just about to end and I had them on a separate screen. And once they actually supposedly ended and disappeared off my thing, if I refreshed that particular listing or even did it in incognito mode, it's still there. It's just not in my list of listings. It's not anywhere in the search. So basically, just be aware that this is a problem, but don't freak out.
And you don't need to inundate eBay with phone calls.
No. Let's wait and see how it is tomorrow this time, and maybe then we can talk about it. But
as Sally says, her concierge and your concierge get two different memos. Yeah, that's generally the case with eBay.
Right.
You call and you have three people talk to three different people at eBay and you get three different answers.
Absolutely.
But in this case, your concierge that you spoke with a few hours ago was on the same page with Harry and what he just said a few moments ago. So
Tommy, let's address this really quick. When should one relist versus sell similar, and how often? So your stuff automatically basically kind of relists every 31 days because it's good till canceled. You know, the way things work on eBay, there's no exact facts about how to do it because they kind of keep some things a little mysterious. However, it is relatively common knowledge that what we have learned over time is that at a certain point, your listing,
past 90 days,
your listing will become stale and it's going to start getting pushed down in the search. And so, yeah, basically like about 90 days or so. I mean, I have stuff that's already like way older than 90 days, so I don't keep on top of it. But you definitely, you don't want to end it after 30 days. It takes probably about 60 days or so for a listing to really mature from the information we've gained over time. So I would say no sooner than 90 days. But after 90 days, if you're ready to like get stuff really, end it, do a sell similar. So it's a totally new listing, but you lose all your watchers, just so you know. And then it does take time for it to get
to mature in SEO
and get back out in the Google search. So there's the pros and cons of it, but that's basically what we could say about it. Yeah. So if our eBay invoice is due tomorrow, they'll give us until the 1st. Well, tomorrow is the 1st, right? There's no 29th tomorrow.
No, not this year.
But anyway, yeah, no, it never works that way, Greg, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's about it. The other thing is that you had heard, I don't know anything about this, but Vikki saw something about people who actually run auctions. There are auctions that are ending today. Some people have talked about them.
Yeah, I've seen it in a number of groups. I haven't seen it in the boss group yet. And as Sally had said, you don't need to apologize for causing panic. Your post was probably the 10th post today that I had read. You were just bringing awareness to it. You didn't cause panic. That way it actually helped us cut down on the number of threads in the boss Facebook group about it. And I'll be able to talk about it from an intelligent standpoint or semi-intelligent standpoint here. But yes, I am hearing and seeing on a few different groups today that those of you that have auctions that are ending today that have bids on those auctions, the auctions are disappearing and not showing as sold with a winner. So
we don't know anything about it. We're just saying,
I don't run auctions. I haven't in a long time. So just be aware if that happens, that might be, that might be part of this whole, issue with the relists and endings today. Okay.
Yeah. And if you guys have been following us for any amount of time, you know that, the way we see it is these are our businesses. To a certain degree, they're out of our control because it's based on whatever's going on the particular platforms we're selling on. But it's always good to be aware of any issues that are going on. You want to be on top of it. You want to be paying attention. Even if you can't do anything, you want to know what's happening and know what the resolutions are going to be. You just want to be aware. And it's important. No, you shouldn't panic. However, I mean, sometimes stuff happens. I mean, we all remember Photogeddon. Stuff does happen. So you want to keep on top of it. So we try to bring a calm and reasonable spirit to the table.
I'm not always so calm. Let's be real.
More.
I'm not freaking out today that much because I'm waiting to see what happens. And as I said, my listings are all backed up and list perfectly. So yes, while it would take me several hours to rectify and relist them, the information is not entirely lost if God forbid this doesn't fix itself. So that's making me feel a little bit more calm, I have to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, Greg, I'm not sure about that. I haven't heard anything about that, but definitely you guys talk amongst yourselves in the chat about it.
All right. And then real quick before we jump into our actual show, I wanted to say, we're doing the No Pants Friday and then the Boss Up and List Day. Like we're alternating them. But you know what? We're kind of loosey-goosey. We're going to skip it this week with Wednesday because we do have some awesome fellow reseller friends in town this week. We're actually taking a staycation Tuesday night, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to race home to do a YouTube show the next morning. We want to take our sweet ass time
in our suite.
Hey. Anyway, we're going to be hanging out with other reseller friends. And so we'll do our Wednesday show next week though, guys. And we have some cool stuff that we'll be covering. Anyway, all right, we're going to go ahead and jump in since we're already more than 10 minutes into the show. What do you say?
All right.
Want to look at our numbers?
No,
all right.
Not really.
Okay.
They're kind of sad.
Yeah. For us, for sure. I mean, it's like I'm having to hold off on doing a whole lot more sourcing because I'm like, I got to get some money coming in. The bills that got to be paid. Let's see. Go ahead and share the screen here. This is the screen sharing music. All right, so here is for the week ending yesterday, the 27th. So starting last Sunday through yesterday. Actually, my other platforms are doing okay. They're doing all right.
I've had a rough week on all platforms. I got to be honest.
But when we get to your numbers, I think that yours follows up mine. That eBay is really, really dragging right now, and it is what it is. But just barely over $1,000. But I know you're under 2,000 on eBay, which is pretty crazy and almost never happens anymore. But I have 20 eBay orders, 8 Etsy orders, 1 Instagram, and then 8 grilled Mercari. Only one of those Mercari grilled has been pretty good for me this week. And so it's total of 37 outgoing orders. eBay, $1,180.32. Etsy, I had some really good sales on Etsy, and it's been kind of quiet the last couple of days over the weekend. $721.07. Instagram 100, and then grilled $491 Mercari there too. But I think it's just like 60 of it is Mercari. The rest is all grilled. So grilled actually this is probably one of the better weeks I've ever had on grilled. So I don't do a crazy amount there. So total $2,492.39. Now, as you guys know, we talk about how our businesses have grown over time. Maybe like a year and a half ago, a $2,000 a week just selling on eBay, I'd be really, really happy with. But now that I've expanded to all these other platforms, I really try to hit 3,000. So it's okay. $202.24 on shipping. You can see the breakdown of fees there. $335 for cost of goods. So my net total sales, $1,685.89. My gross average sale price, $67.36. I try to be at 7 and above, but I did do a lot of aggressive offers to buyers, accepted some lower offers for sure to bring the money in. Average sale price net, $45.56. So, it is what it is. I will say February is kind of notoriously one of the worst months of the year. Mm-hmm. It's like January usually is pretty good after Christmas, although this year it's already been kind of meh. But February is kind of notorious for it. So I'm just ready to be over with this short month. And
January was good for me. February, not so much.
Hopefully March is going to kick back up here real soon. So what do you got going on?
Judith, if your screen is blurry, just go ahead and refresh or maybe change the what is it called?
Yeah, it's not blurry here. Just refresh it. And then you can change the what do you call it? Now I'm like, what do you call it? There's a thing where you can go down in your I don't know. Somebody in the
Pixels or
chat.
something.
Somebody help in the chat. But
Somebody help with the brain freeze there.
yeah, it's definitely
Somebody
coming
with a
through
brain.
clear. Go ahead. What's your numbers?
So I had 37 orders on eBay, pretty low. 4 on Etsy, also low. 10 on Poshmark, but they were all pretty small orders. 0 Mercari, 0 Facebook Marketplace. I'm telling you, I am listing on both of those things almost every day. 0 sales. I feel like my listings on Facebook Marketplace go through, some weeks I will have thousands of listings on each item, and some weeks I have 3 views on an item. It doesn't thousands of views, and some weeks I have 3. So it's very strange for me.
Yeah.
It's a very strange platform. When the money comes in, I'm happy, and then when it doesn't, I'm like, I don't friggin' know. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So 51 total outgoing orders, not terrible. I'm usually around 50, between 50 and 60, but the numbers were just not there for me this week. 2,100 on eBay. I barely scratched over 2,000 on eBay. Etsy, 291, also very low. Poshmark, also very low, 329. And again, nothing on Mercari and nothing on Facebook Marketplace. Total sales, 2725. I'm happy if it's 3,000 and above. So it's not a terrible week overall. It's pretty low. It's pretty low. So 315 in shipping. You've got the eBay fees, Etsy fees, Poshmark fees. So the total fees with shipping, 658 and change. My cost of goods relatively low. Again, I'm still selling a lot of the items that I have pennies into. So my cost of goods has been relatively low every week, and I'm happy for that. So my total net sales are still not too bad at $1,861. My gross average sale price has fallen by over $10 this week. Again, it's very low offers and sales on Poshmark. I'm clearing out some old stuff. So that's going to bring my ASP down.
Yep.
And then my net ASP, $36.50. Just a very slow week for me. I'm down about over $2,000 for this week where I was 2 and 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So it is what it is.
It is what it is, but that's the life of a reseller. It's like you can never really...
The reseller roller coaster, as we call it.
Yeah, like you've been doing some, you've been able to do, because you've had some really good sales over the last year, you've been able to aggressively pay down some debt, and it's been really nice. And so sometimes when you have like a plan in place...
I paid for a cruise 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and sometimes
we're not going on the cruise for 2 years. I paid in full for a cruise. I just bought a treadmill. Every time I make big purchases like that, or pay down my credit card, and I've got like 0 debt, and I'm like feeling really good about myself, putting stuff in the bank, and then sales come to a screeching halt. I swear
it is what it is.
Every time.
But we're not going to get into any kind of political conversation here. But as business owners, small business owners in e-commerce, we should talk about the fact that this last week the House did pass the stimulus package, and it's highly likely that this week sometime, most likely, the Senate will pass it as well, and that includes the $1,400 to individuals as well as for whatever they have going on with the kids and all kinds of stuff. And so, from a practical standpoint, for us, what that means is that you are likely, and the last time they got that money in people's bank accounts pretty quickly, you should see a jump in sales, I'm guessing, in the next couple of weeks once that rolls
It's also
out.
tax refund time.
That too.
This is the time of year when people start filing their taxes. If they haven't already, they start getting tax refunds. March, I've been in sales and in retail pretty much my whole adult life. Actually, not pretty much, definitely my whole adult life. And it's very cyclical. January, people are still buying with Christmas money. The end of January, people get their Christmas bills in the mail, and everything slows down. But by the first to second week of March and into April, sales are very strong. And that's usually because of tax refund season in general. So between tax refund season and stimulus payments that are going to go to people, that's what they're for, to stimulate the economy. That means people are going to go spend that money,
which is going to have a huge impact on all of us as business owners, because people are going to buy our shit, basically. Yeah.
So we should start to see some strong sales coming within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. There was a little bit of a bump when the $600 one went out. I saw people saying that they were all of a sudden selling some stuff, and this will be a bigger one. So hopefully we will see that and see some, and that's going to help all of us with our businesses. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and, Tommy says, if eBay went away suddenly, would we be able to survive just on other platforms? Would they pick up the slack? I don't think that's a weird thing, because I think, a lot of us, us included, have a love-hate relationship with eBay, because for us, for each of us, we have separate businesses, but for each of us, eBay is definitely our highest earner. And for you, it's a significantly bigger I would say for me, it's like half and half eBay, half the rest of my ones together. Yours is probably more like
75, 25 right now. Yeah. Here's the thing. I've been selling on eBay. This is my 24th year, but it is my 14th or 15th year full time. And that's without any other, income. So I have to say that you just learn to adapt as long as you're doing something that's right. I don't mean by, just following us on Facebook or being in our Facebook group or watching our show, but being connected to the reseller community in general. That is going to keep you up to date on things that are changing, on trends that change, on platforms and what they change with, how they change. And by the very nature of being exposed to that information, you are going to change your business accordingly as needed. And that's going to mean that you're a better seller because of that. So when changes happen, you're already part of the evolution process. Online selling isn't going anywhere. eBay is not going anywhere.
What would you do if eBay exploded and just disappeared?
Then I would pour everything into other platforms.
Yeah. I think I would aggressively go build my Instagram more.
Yeah. So I'm not really worried about it because I do, like you said, I do think that the other platforms will pick it up. Sustainability, used fashion, thrifting in general, all of these things are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger as time goes on, and people become more environmentally conscious and socially conscious, and all those types of things all tie into the reselling industry. You're going to see that it's only going to get more of an online presence as several, large retailers close their in-person stores. Catalog companies are a thing of the past. Everything changes. So I think you're going to be okay.
I'm going to start creating a print catalog that I will mail out to people. What do you think?
Yeah, no.
No? Kind of like Sears?
No. Yeah, and Gary, I feel the same way. As an old-time reseller, I still learn something almost every day in the boss group.
Absolutely.
I learn something all the time from fellow resellers, and I think staying plugged into the reselling community is a good way to keep yourself abreast of any type of new situation.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and look at our sales highlights for the week. Of course, you can always go to our eBay or Etsy stores and look at the sold yourself and see some of the more boring stuff that we sold. But this is just kind of like the highlights, most interesting things that we think you might be into, or we think maybe educational. So let's start with this one for you. What you got?
So this isn't a huge sale or anything like that, but I wanted to highlight it first of all because it's a really, really pretty dress. It just has a great silhouette. But part of what I wanted to highlight is that, people don't always understand why vintage fashion sells. And here's the thing, vintage fashion, the name is not what sold that thing. It's the style that sold it. And I probably had $4 invested in this dress because most of the dresses that I pick up at Deseret, and I know this one came from Deseret, are $4, at most $6. So, it's not necessarily vintage that you want to pay attention to the tag on vintage. You want to pay attention to the color, the fabric, the draping. This dress is stunning in person. It's really hard to show on the mannequin, but even on the mannequin, you can see the silhouette is very pretty, and that's what sold this dress. I'm actually surprised it didn't sell for more, but I've been trying to not hold on to things with prices as aggressively as I have in the past. So. Yeah, I mean, I flipped this in about a month.
I mean, this is where you say it's not the brand that sells it. This is where, you really have to have some knowledge, or at least know where to look for the information when it comes to figuring out your keywords, because you got to think about how is somebody going to find this particular dress if they're not searching Samantha Black dress.
Yeah. I mean, and even the keywords, none of them are super fantastic. You want them to, sometimes you have keywords that you can put in. If the title was even bigger, I would have had romantic or floral, or even this is almost cottagecore, but it's a little too fancy for cottagecore. As far as the fabrics, that's more of a cotton aesthetic. Anyway, it's just a really pretty dress that I know whoever purchased this, if this fits them, it's going to look stunning on a person. So Kara, you took the words right out of my mouth. Yep. So,
Kaylee, I think Vikki does the same thing as me. I have now shifted to where I wait until the buyer pays before I take an item off of other platforms if it sells on eBay with best offer. I'm hoping in the future, eventually, it's not going to matter anymore, and they will actually be able to do immediate pay with offers. But until that happens, because I have too many times where people just don't pay, and I'm not going to take it out of circulation on all my other platforms. So. And it hasn't been a problem yet. So
yeah, I do the same thing, Kaylee.
Mm-hmm. All right. First one for me, it's actually an album, and I did not sell it for the price that you see there, but I had 3 of these. This was a lot of times, I've talked about this before. I will buy albums I want for myself, and I'll buy extras to be able to make a little money off them, cover the cost for me. And so this is Cokie the Clown. It's like an offshoot of NoFX, Fat Mike from NoFX, if you know punk at all. But they had released this album like a year or so ago, and their albums are always super cheap, but they'll have like limited edition colored ones that sell out really quickly. And I got like 3 copies of this one. This is actually the 3rd and last one I've sold, and I still have a few copies of just the regular, I think a different color but more common one. So I took an offer for $100, but then it actually went international. So they paid $100 plus they paid for the shipping fees. It's just kind of a cool thing. It's one of the nice little perks of selling online. If you are a collector, you can find ways to kind of fund your collection, your hobbies, basically, is what I'm saying, if you're willing to part with them. So just kind of cool. Yeah, I was glad to see that the last one go out the door. All right, first up for you.
Yet another dress, another example of vintage that sells, and the kind of schoolgirl look, the Lolita schoolgirl. I would say Lolita if this had a very short skirt, but because it has a long skirt, it's just more of a schoolgirl. Lolita is that young girl looking sexy thing. And it's also very popular in Asian fashion. So this would be something, I'm actually surprised this didn't ship to Japan or China because of the look, but it did ship in the US. It sold for $70, as you see there. This is also, if you're looking for an aesthetic like that cottagecore aesthetic, this is an academia aesthetic. So academia is a keyword, nerdcore, schoolgirl,
yeah,
that type of thing. You've got to, see Tara Lori. I don't know who that is. Dark academia. Dark academia is a little bit more of a dark edge to it. But yes, academia is definitely one of the words that I would be using.
Mm-hmm.
So again, not a very pricey dress, but this is something I paid $10 for. I actually bought this in Torgum. And it's not great fabric. It's cheap polyester. It's all about the style. I have no idea what the brand name was. It doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Next up, I sold this Kicks t-shirt. This is from that batch of t-shirts I bought from Barry, aka Afro Vintage. If you remember, I bought 36 t-shirts for $2,000. I have sold, I don't even think I've sold half of them yet. And I'm well past the making all of my money back. So average cost was $55, but like I said, I'm already like well past making my money back. So I'm taking lower offers because I'm like, whatever, I just want to make more money on these. So this one, I took an offer for $120, I think, or maybe I sent the offer out anyway. So individual cost $55, but like I said, it's all profit now. So $120 for this t-shirt, but for this smaller East Coast band, correct?
Well, yeah, they're definitely from the East Coast. Yeah, they're from Maryland. They are super popular in and around the Maryland area. Mm-hmm. They do have a huge fan base, but it is definitely more East Coast because they did the majority of their touring on the East Coast. Now they tour a little bit more doing big festivals and things like that. But for the majority of their career, they were East Coast centered as far as touring, and they've had, a couple of really big hits. Anyway, my friends manage them, and they're a good band. My friends that you met last weekend.
Yes. All right. Next one for you.
So some of you may know that Pink Panther, LV Pink Panther, used to be my store name. And so I had received lots of gifts, Pink Panther gifts throughout the years. And this was a gift that I had received. I don't use this type of thing, and I don't go by that store name any longer. So these were sitting in my bar collecting dust, quite literally. And we purchased a new bar, custom made bar 2 months ago, and they didn't really fit in the new bar. So I went to sell them. They didn't cost me anything. And they sold for the price you see there, $75.96 plus shipping. And I also had one stray martini glass that went with that set. And the martini glass sold for $20 by itself, just the one.
Nice.
So no, it didn't cost me anything. sold for a total of $90 plus shipping.
Yeah, well, you've been doing like a lot of redecorating. We got a new bar. We're kind of changing out the decor in our front room.
See what happens when you're stuck at home all the time?
Yeah.
You redecorate like every flipping room.
But because we're resellers, because we're thrifters, we have a very hard time spending money on that stuff. And you know how to be crafty. And she's like selling off all of our old stuff. So she sold the bar for what, $200?
That I paid $100 for 8 years ago.
You've sold you've sold
pillows
so far. You've sold some decorative books,
a
tray, and you still have the curtains to sell. So you're kind of like going through the process of like, so hopefully the redecoration doesn't really cost a whole lot.
Yeah. It's nice when you can sell stuff you've had for 10 years or 8 years for, at least half of what you paid for it originally. And then it goes towards your new redecorating purchases.
Yep. All right. Next up is this Boston t-shirt. This is also from the
Barry
purchase. I had it listed. You see there, $209.99. Somebody offered me $150, and I was like, "Are you kidding me, man? Of course I'm going to take $150." So I accepted the offer, and then they immediately paid. And then the next day, somebody opened an item not received case on something else for $210. Now that's on hold. So then I cried because this was like the only sale from that day. And then the next morning. You guys know how it goes. And I'm like, why? But anyway, $150 is definitely a good price to get on this. This is one of those t-shirts that you can find similar ones, if not the same one, somewhat frequently on eBay, and they tend to sell for lower prices. So actually $150 was a really good price to get on this, and I was very happy about it. So super cool shirt and good sale. Go ahead.
Yet another quilt from the bunch of quilts that I purchased at a large estate sale buyout. It came from the same estate as the creepy dolls and all the vintage doll clothing and doll dresses. This had some issues with it. As you can see, they're very clearly stated what the issues were. It still sold. It was a very nice vintage quilt. And it was very nicely done. It's very pretty. I think if someone were to treat some of that staining, it would probably come out. There wasn't too much damage to the actual quilt itself. So again, very pretty. And it sold for, I have $1 invested in it, about $1, $98.76 plus shipping. Shipped to Washington. So it shipped for about $10.
Nice. Very good. Very good. All right. I guess I'm selling a lot of music and music themed stuff this week. These are jazz cats. Who doesn't like some jazz cats? I got this at yesterday's Fits. I probably paid like $10 for it. It's just kind of a silly travel t-shirt for New Orleans and Nolans. And but I love the colors on it. And
you didn't want to hang on to that for our New Orleans cruise?
No, I'm okay. Anyway, I love the colors on it. I love the design, and come on, jazz cats. How could I say no? It's only been listed for like maybe a week, and I sold it on Etsy. Let's see what I sold it for. Now, remember guys, you can always use flippertools.com to be able to see what stuff sold for on Etsy, since it isn't always apparent. $69.99. This one has not gone into a sale yet because I do a new sale at the beginning of every month. So it sold for $69.99. That's right. An old Jazz Cats t-shirt from Nolans from the 90s, sold for $70. I paid like $10 for it. So
it's crazy.
Definitely a good flip. But how cool. Meow, 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 meow. That's what the Jazz Cat says. Meow, 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 meow.
Ridiculous.
All right, next one for you.
So this is a skirt that came from a different estate sale buyout. It's kind of a set. It's the skirt and the shirt. Very 60s. Just a big, long floral, not floral. It's a floral lace print, but it's semi-sheer. It just has many layers in the skirt, but the blouse is completely sheer. From the 60s. It sold for the price that you see there, $101.36. It was again maybe $1, $2. It's very nicely made. It's just very hard to photograph. As you can see, some of the photos are kind of blown out. I'm terrible at photographing black. I'm not blaming this one on Crystal. I photographed it myself.
I try to show her, guys, and she gets mad.
Listen, it's as good as it's going to get. It still sold, didn't it? So shut up. Anyway, $1 or $2 invested in it. It was listed for 3 or 4 months. And there you go. That's It's a cute little set. I bet it's going to look fantastic on someone. I love selling vintage clothing. It's just, as I've said before, vintage clothing that is made plus size or made to fit larger, curvier women is a lot harder to find. It does exist. It's just a lot harder to find. Yes, there have been chubby people out there forever, but good quality vintage clothing has not always been abundant for them.
Yeah. Frankie says, why that price? I mean, you just have kind of a price point that you do and then it goes on sale, right?
Yep.
I know for me, I have different levels. And
so $129.99 or $95 is one of my standard price points that I throw something at. Again, vintage clothing, I'll price it what I feel that it's worth. It's not the type of thing that you can comp very easily. I throw a price up there and it'll eventually sell.
Yeah. Leslie says, I have a hard time photographing black too. Do you have a video on that? I think so. If you look down below in the description, there's a video for the ring light, our new ring light. If you look there, and I show with my phone how I take a picture of something, and it really is all about the first thing you have to do when you're photographing something is you set it to the correct white balance, and that stays the same no matter what, because you're basically syncing it up to the same white balance of the bulbs that you're using, so like daylight bulbs. And then it's all about lightening it and darkening it, and you have to like play around with that with each thing you photograph. And I'm telling you, once you get used to doing it, it's very easy to get a good rich black in your photographs. It's something you have to get the hang of.
You have to, yeah. Anyway, yes. So Tommy, I did install Photo Room, and Photo Room means that my photos will look a lot better going forward. So yes, to that question, I'm obviously not going to go back in and redo photos for a 3,300 listings, but but going forward, my photos should look a bit better.
I'm telling you, Kara, if you have your white balance set and then you play around with the lightness and darkness while you're taking your pictures, purple is not hard and neither is black.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Is the super cute. I love this sweatshirt. It took a while to sell, but I love it. It's so cute. So freaking cute. Mickey Mouse. I'm not a huge Disney person, but I love this particular graphic. It's like Mickey on, I'm assuming it's supposed to be Mars because those look like little Martians. They're really cute. He's got his little rocket ship behind him. I just think this is a really cool sweatshirt. And so I bought this for like $25 from yesterday's fits, and I sold it for, let's see what I sold it for. Sold on Etsy, and it was 10% off. So it sold for $89.99. So I bought it for $25, sold it for $89.99, and it is adorable.
Yeah, see, here you go. As Cheryl says the woman that doesn't have an Apple phone, it is a lot harder to adjust your photography settings on Apple.
There are apps you can download, I promise you, that give you a camera where you can control the pro settings. Just saying. I'm not saying it's easy for everybody to just figure it out and do it. I'm just saying there are apps that you can get. Okay, next one.
I know. Greg says good timing. We landed on Mars. Maybe Mickey was in that little
maybe so
space shuttle. You don't know.
You don't know.
Yet another vintage sale. My vintage clothing was doing pretty well this week. This was a dress that I had priced higher. I had it priced at $169.95. I did get an offer on this for $120, so it sold for $120, which I think is perfectly fine. That's actually really nice. A really good offer. This is a beautiful dress.
It's very luxurious.
It's really, really well made. Green. It's a beautiful wool dress, fully lined. It's nice and it's fitted. It's just the fabric and the colors are very vibrant. I love it. I love this dress. Whoever buys this, that it fits, I'm sure it's going to look fantastic. A woman bought it for her daughter's birthday. So she sent me a message and was like, can you ship it right out? And that was Friday. And she bought it Friday morning. I shipped it out Friday.
It's really awesome. Real quick, for people with iPhones, Liz just said for Apple, she uses the ProCam 8 app. So there you go, guys. Look up ProCam 8. It's a one-time charge of like $6 or $8. So look for that if you want to be able to have more control over your cameras.
Yeah, one of the things that we're going to show in our next Wednesday show is how to use Photo Room, because Photo Room is now available on Android and iPhone, and it is available for bulk editing. That is going to be what our show is going to be about. We are going
magical.
And I don't edit photos generally, but I am editing photos with this, and so is Crystal, and it's fast and it's good and it's easy to use. And if I can figure out how to use it, anybody can figure out how to use it, because I'm a techno idiot.
Yes, we'll talk about it, but it's a $50 a year. So it does cost a little money up front, but they have like a 7-day trial period that you can try it out anyway. Okay.
Oh, Allison showing her age right there.
Ooh.
She absolutely does it just like Henrietta Pussycat, Mr. Rogers' cat. Meow, 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 meow.
Meow, meow, meow.
It's so funny that you said that, because it's exactly how she does it. Meow, 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 meow.
Okay. Let's see. Liz says, I was shocked the two of you like it. If they say it's fast, you know it's awesome.
It's true, because I'm lazy as fuck.
Here's the thing.
And I am
Whoa! 40 minutes in. Wow, you were just so naughty.
Seriously, I'm super lazy. If it's, I don't want to edit my photos because clearly my stuff sells anyway. I'm not someone that's trying to get stockroom quality photos. I'm going to tell you how good it is. I received a takedown notice from Macari this week because they thought one of my photos was a stock photo. I had to fight it. It wasn't a stock photo. It was my photo room photo, and it was a 45-year-old vintage item. Clearly, it was not a stock photo. I said, thank you for the compliment, but no, this is not a stock photo. So they apologized and they removed the defect from my account. And the guy that messaged me was even laughing about it. But I thought it was pretty funny.
I say what's more telling is that I think it's really good because I'm so picky about my photos. And so it seriously is good. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on. We will talk about that next week. Not this week, but next week. Okay, next up, I have this Miami Dolphins Starter Pro line winter jacket. This is one I picked up from Jesse's mom when we went and bought a bunch of stuff from her, and I bought a ton of jackets. It was in the middle of the pandemic and lockdown. We went to her house and got a bunch of stuff, and so I paid about $25 for this. But it's just it went. You'll be shocked to hear it did go to Miami, Florida. But this is a vintage 90s. I haven't really been doing picking up a lot of jackets, and I feel like these kinds of jackets aren't selling as quickly. But
they're not selling the way they did a year ago.
Yeah, but they do still sell. And so let's see what it sold for. 10% off sale. So it actually sold for $224.99. So $225. I paid about $25 for it. Sold it for $225. Not too shabby.
Not bad.
Not bad. So I was pretty happy about that. This is like my single biggest, highest priced item I sold this week. So I'm like, thank you, baby Jesus.
So Gary, the pay version gives you the option to do bulk revisions or bulk editing.
And not have like their
and not have their logo on it or anything. So I'm cheap as hell. It's $50 for an entire year, and I bought it.
There's certain things that's like, if it's significantly going to help your business, and you know, my photos don't look any different really because I already have been doing the work to make them look like that. But what I can tell you is that I'm doing it in a fraction of the time. So yeah, that's what makes it.
We'll talk more about it in another week and a half.
Okay, so next one for you.
Oh, this was a fun one. I did show this on my Instagram account. I know some of you guys follow me on Instagram. I try to not show these prior to a show, but sometimes I just do. Sorry. This one I picked up at Torgum, or I believe Katy picked this up at Torgum for me. Mm-hmm. So it was a $20 cost. And it sold for $174.76. What I liked about it is that it actually sold and went back to Bluefield, West Virginia, which is a very small town. And it sold and went back to that area. I really hope that it went to maybe a family member or somebody that knew who it belonged to. Because if you look at these photos, there is inside the pocket, the guy's name is in there that it belonged to. Bill McHugh. So it did not sell to someone with that last name, but I really hope it went back to somebody that knew this person, because I think that's fantastic. I love that when it went.
I hear he still holds the record for running yards. I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't know. That's just stop. But I paid 20, sold for 175. I love vintage varsity jackets.
It's super, super cool. So Tommy wants to know, is that a puffers going out of style, don't pick up statement? I wouldn't necessarily say they're going out of style, but I think right now it's really, really hot in vintage streetwear is like t-shirts and sweatshirts and things like that.
And shackets.
So I wouldn't say that they're not cool. They're not
shackets.
Shackets.
A shacket. It's a lightly lined or unlined open shirt type jacket. Just Google it. I'm telling you.
Well, I'm talking about in streetwear. I haven't heard anybody say that, but I'm not saying it's not a thing. But my point is that they're not, it's not like they're uncool. It's more that they aren't moving very quickly. So I would say I would still pick up stuff like that. It just means that you want to think about how much you're willing to pay for it. Like I would still pay $20 for a really awesome starter jacket, but am I going to pay $50? No, because it's not going to move fast enough for me. All right. So
shirt jack. Yes.
I know what a shirt jacket. I've never heard it called a shacket.
If you go and search under the term shacket on eBay or Etsy right now, you're going to find a lot. I believe you. It's a popular term. It's actually more popular than shirt jack.
I believe you.
Right now. I don't know why, but it just is.
Okay, so let me look at a couple of grailed sales. I have this one I sold, and it's not crazy noteworthy other than I got this at Torgum, so I paid $10 for it. It's just kind of a cool t-shirt that has kind of a funky 80s design to it. Nothing crazy. Paid $10 for it, but I will say, I'm not going to say who exactly I sold it to, but the person I sold it to had a KanyeWest.com email address, which means they work, because KanyeWest.com is not actually like a website that you go to. It's basically, if you have
somebody
that as your email, you work there. You work
mm-hmm.
there. And it's going, it already got there, but it was going to like the district where all the fashion district and stuff like that, where a lot of design stuff happens. So I don't know, guys. I don't know if the new look, I was just joking around with Derek the other day that like, hopefully the new trend that Kanye West is going to push is like really like old school 80s event t-shirts. And then we're going to be effing rich. It'd be awesome. But anyway, just kind of cool. I think it's kind of fun and maybe a little stalkerish to be like, ooh, who bought this? Let's go check it out. Let's see what's up. Vikki and I both do it all the time, but it's just kind of cool. So we'll see, guys. We'll see if Kanye is wearing this t-shirt or something that looks like it in the near future.
I sold 3 items last week on Etsy, or the week before last on Etsy, to a huge Instagram TV blogger who's like in New York City. And she's super big on sustainability and sustainable fashion, and she has like a few million followers and stuff like that. So I chatted back and forth with her a little bit, and I just thought it was pretty cool because like I kind of know that name, and I don't know how I know that name. So then I Googled her, and then I of course did a little stalking.
And then you sent her the wrong long johns. How embarrassing!
I did.
How embarrassing!
I sent her the wrong long johns by mistake. I thought I only had 1 pair, and I just grabbed them and sent them, and I actually had 2 pair. But I sent her the correct ones, and she was very nice about it. Speaking of people that message you when you make a mistake and are kind and act like humans.
But on the other side of that, it's like I talk about with any business, businesses are much more memorable if you have a problem with them and they handle it correctly than if nothing happens at all. You know what I mean? Because it's always more memorable, like, oh, they really followed up and they really took care of it and did it right.
Right. And she was super nice about it. She's like, I don't think these are the right ones. And she was right. I was wrong. But yeah, we chatted back and forth a little bit. So,
all right. Last one for you. What you got?
This is just another vintage quilt. This one did not come out of that house. This one actually came from, I want to say either Utah or Phoenix on our last trip. I'm not sure which one, but it was one of our little sourcing trips. I did pick it up at a Goodwill. I paid $6 for it. I remember specifically. And it's a really pretty one. I got some good feedback on it already. So
I'm pretty sure everybody's grandma had one of these blankets.
Yeah. Chenille blankets are fantastic. They always sell very well, regardless of the condition. And this one happened to be in very nice condition. It's very pretty. And it's sold on Etsy for...
Oh, let's see. There you go.
$129.95 plus the buyer paid $14.95 shipping, and I paid $6 for it. Leah, Cherry Darling, I love Dutch Brothers. I'm a Dunkin' Donuts girl, but I've come to love Dutch Brothers.
You know why? Because I forced it upon you.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, by forcing her to drink Dutch Brothers about a bazillion times since I moved here, I finally was able to convert her. Part of it is that she found one of their drinks that she actually likes a lot, whereas before she just kind of tolerated it. But yeah, Dutch Brothers started in Oregon. Does this mean that they just got a Dutch Brothers where you are, Leah, or are you not in?
Is there Dutch Brothers in Kingman, or did you venture out of Kingman?
And yes, excellent service. Excellent service. They're always fun. Okay. Karen says, I sold something that went to the Scientology Center. I had so many questions.
Right?
Yeah. Like, what's going on with that? What's happening? Oh, bullhead. Okay. Last one for me, and then we'll wrap up this section. So I had a guy, I think he was in Australia, and he had a few things that he was interested in. He was like, hey, do you give any kind of discounts if we did like if I did like a bundle or whatever? And I said, yeah, tell me which things you're interested in, and I'll tell you what I can do for price. So I think he was asking if I would combine shipping. And so the easiest thing to do was to just create a new listing as a bundle listing. And so I told him what I would price it at, and he said, okay, that sounds good. And so I created the listing at $170. So the three of them together were not more than £2. So I was able to ship them for like less than $20 using Pirate Ship. But it was funny because I made the listing and then I said, okay, it's up. You can go ahead and buy it. And he's like, would you take $150? And I said, listen, mother effer, we talked about this. I said $170, buddy. And I said it very nicely. I just said, nope, $170 was the offer agreed upon. And he said, yeah, you're right. It's a good deal with the shipping to Australia. So $170 for this Carolina Panthers t-shirt, this other Carolina Panthers t-shirt, and then the Chicago Cubs t-shirt. I paid like about $25 for each of these. Actually, no, I paid about $15 to $20 for each of these at yesterday's fits. So we'll say I paid a total of, let's say, $50. And sold for $170. 20 of that went into shipping. But it was a nice little bulk sale on Grailed, even though I had to smack an Australian and Aussie into shape over his waffling on agreed upon offers and prices.
I have to laugh at Allison. I'm sorry You may have missed her little joke. I wonder if the captain had a chenille blanket.
Hey-o. Hey-o. Hey, her jokes are really reaching a very specific audience.
Seriously, and I'm the old one.
Well, you're the one getting all the jokes.
That's
so
true.
come on.
I'm getting the jokes, but she's making
I didn't see
the
that
jokes.
One, though. I do know who was a Captain Tennille or whatever. Anyway, that's funny. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our haul. Do you want to start? What do you got?
Sure, I'll start.
I'll have you start while I do this. Just kidding.
I'm going to start with this little guy who just made me laugh. I picked him up this morning.
Shh. Hold on. He doesn't like to work right away.
Man.
Hold on.
Ice, baby. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with a brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, like a hawk daily and nightly. Ice, baby.
All right.
Yo, man, let's get out of here. Word to your mother.
Boy. Anyway, I thought that was pretty funny. Yes, it's a Gemmy. Gemmy. It's a Gemmy snowman. I just paid $6 for this little dude. They do sell for $75 consistently, $75 to $80 consistently. There's like 2 listed right now. Somebody has one at auction for $300. Yeah, that's wishful thinking, buddy.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least $100.
You might want to put in the listing that you have to shake the life out of him to make him work, though.
I just think he's funny. I've probably played this 10 times already today, and I kept the batteries in because I'm going to keep playing it.
She plays it, and
it amuses me.
She pulled out. It was really weird because I heard some commotion downstairs. I went down there, and she's pulling out this giant piece of cardboard. She was like spinning in the middle of the kitchen.
Yes. I was breakdancing.
It's true. It's
me and
true.
break into Electric Boogaloo.
It's true. I'm
going to go find that on the Roku now.
All right.
So I've got another doll. I know, shocking. I actually bought a couple of dolls when I was sourcing. And I got this one last week in Palm Springs. And this is a Sweet Sue Sophisticate doll. That's the name of this doll. She is unmarked. You would only know that by knowing about dolls and knowing how to do the research to figure out who she is. But she is a Sweet Sue Sophisticate doll. They were made, they have these fancy outfits. A lot of them have jewelry. She's actually in fantastic shape. Her dress is perfect. The only thing she's missing are her shoes. And I paid $10 for her at a thrift store last weekend, and she will sell for probably $125 or so. She's in great shape. Her hair's still in great shape.
I feel like she thinks she's better than me, though.
Probably.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yes, she is a cute doll. Like, right? This is not a creepy one. I'm sorry. There's no way anybody's gonna say this is a creepy doll. It's not.
Lisa, yes, the snowman does have an earring.
Yes, he does.
He does have an earring.
Let's see. I'm doing just the hard goods first because I only have a few. This I did pay up for. I did pay $10 for this. This is Vintage Play School, and he's in the box. He's not new by any means, but it's Fetch It Freddy. I actually remember this doll, this toy. So this one is definitely from the 70s. I haven't looked it up yet, but I think I can get about $75 for it. I paid $12. I had this when I was a kid. This is why I remember this. You'd move his tail down and he would spit the ball out and the ball would go across the floor and then you could kick it back to him and stuff. Anyway, he's a little dirty. I'll clean him up.
I feel like he looks a lot like the Everything is Fine dog. I don't know if anybody out there knows what I'm talking about.
Where there's fire all around him.
Yeah,
this fine.
This guy right here.
Fine.
Everything's fine. He looks a lot like him. His hat's a little bit different. But he's the same kind of dog. He's got the ears. So there you go.
Okay, so I want to just actually address Examinator. Give it a couple of hours, it will show up. That is a well-known glitch that is happening today. It's happening across the board. It will show up under sold waiting payment. Okay, so give it a few hours. They are showing up. It's just not happening as quickly as possible, and everybody's freaking out. You're not alone.
Yeah. Just find your zen with the Everything is Fine dog.
This one I paid $6 for. This is a larger doll. This one's about 36 inches tall. Again, she's not super creepy. She's kind of cute. This is an unmarked doll, and she's wearing her original clothing and shoes. And this one is, it's just what they would call a play pal doll or a companion doll because it would be like the same size as the kid. So the most popular ones are made by Ideal, and they are the Play Pal family. They're technically all companion dolls at this size, but you can use the word Play Pal even though it's kind of an Ideal doll, but that's what people will look for as a keyword. It's not like it's keyword spamming. It's kind of like Kleenex and tissue at this point. But she's considered a Play Pal companion doll. She's not made by Ideal. She's unmarked. I may never figure out who makes her. I'm probably not going to do much research on it. I already looked a little bit and I wasn't able to find anything. There's no markings. But she should sell for, I paid $6. She'll probably sell for about $150. These types of dolls are highly collectible, especially in original vintage clothing. And this one is in all original vintage clothing. She's in, even including her undergarments. Her hair's in good shape. She has her shoes. She's a little bit dirty, and I'm just going to clean her arms and face, and she's actually in really good shape.
Is she a walking one?
Well, you can make her walk, yes, but doesn't walk
by herself to murder you in your sleep?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
So you say.
I'll put her in your room.
So you say.
I'll put her next to your side of the bed. You can let me know.
You already have creepy dolls there. I have to cover them with my dirty laundry.
Yes, the doll is wearing a cottagecore dress.
All right.
Anyway,
my turn.
That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll show you some stuff. So I have a couple of things. So I had bought a bunch of stuff from my buddy Enrique, Fine and Dandy Throwback on Instagram. And I actually put his Instagram name down below in the description of this video because I know,
For who?
Enrique
in
New York. Anyway, because I happen to know that he has tons and tons and tons and tons of vintage, like he's drowning in it. So if you're looking to do some bulk buys, he'll probably do like a good, decent, like vintage t-shirt bulk buy for like maybe $5 per shirt. I didn't tell him I'm doing this. So make sure you like message him and inundate him with messages.
And say Katy sent you, I guess.
Because
not me. I don't know the guy.
Don't
blame me.
No, he has a lot of stuff, and he's a good dude, and he'll probably be able to make you a good deal if you're looking to do like a bulk buy, just basic vintage t-shirts. Anyway, so I got a bunch of stuff. My stuff I got from him though, I paid like $10 a piece for. But I wanted to show this one because this one was so yellow. This shirt, it's a Super Bowl from 1989. So, okay.
Like the 3/4 sleeve, super soft.
Do you see the tag there, or the small tag there?
Yes.
Okay, so when I got this, it was such an even yellowing that this tag was super white, but the whole shirt all around it was completely yellow. I bleached this with my whites, and it came out perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
It looks like new.
So I'm just going to keep preaching the bleach gospel, because it's a really small shirt, but I love these old like 80s kind of t-shirt jerseys. I think they look really cool. So I like that. I'll probably sell it for like $50.
Very cool.
This one, again, I paid like $10 a piece for these. So this is one I got from him as well. I love it. This is a Jesse Jackson for President 1984 ringer tee. It's definitely on the small side, but I love like these old election t-shirts.
Oh, they're so fun.
And even when there's somebody I have no idea who they are.
What did I wear? Which one was the one that I wore from?
You wore the Ross Perot one.
I wore it
Ross's
to
boss.
vote. I wore it to vote. Ross Perot shirt.
Ross's boss. So I like picking up the ones from like the 80s that are just for some random dude that ran for, like state senate in some random state. But it's even more fun when it's somebody that's a much bigger profile. So this one, Jesse Jackson, 1984 for president. Again, I paid $10 for it. I don't know. I have no idea like how many are listed, but I'll probably try to put it up for like 100 or something like that. We'll see.
I think that's funny.
Just a cool shirt. This one is just weird, and I'll see if anybody might have an idea of what it's from. This is a vintage, maybe late 80s, maybe early 90s. Fruit Volume tag there. It's probably early 90s. It's a pocket tee. It's pocket tee. It says House of Trollism. It's in, it's definitely worn. It has a hole in the pocket here. And you see on the back, it's got this really weird like House of Trollism. It's this real creepy looking.
So those trolls, like I said to Katy, these are the original trolls that people would collect. Like they still have them, not troll dolls, not made by Norfin. These are the original trolls. That's what that is a picture of.
Maybe. I don't mean what I mean is I don't know. What I mean is I don't know that they made this shirt specifically from that, because it says House of Trollism. So yes, what you're saying is correct.
That's what they look like. They're made out of wood. Leah has one in her store, actually. They're made of wood. They're like the creepiest looking things. They're like but when you find them, they sell really well for resale.
Yeah. So what I don't know is what this house, because this looks like a staff t-shirt, or like when they do those pocket tees, and so I don't know if there was like a business that had this name or what it is, but I love it. I think it's weird, it's creepy, and all that.
There's actually a museum for trolls. It could be from there. Aaron says it could be.
Maybe so. So Tommy says, I'm still scared to do Katy's bleach method, and my pile's getting bigger and bigger. I'm telling you, this is why I try to like talk about that, because like I bleached this. It still has some spots on it. This is a light blue. It in no way affected the color of the actual sweatshirt. It's a UCLA Bruins. It didn't come out perfectly clean, but it definitely helped clean it up a little bit. It does have like a little spot you can see by the A there. But this particular one, I got from, I think I got this one from yesterday's fit. So I think I paid like $15 for it. This is from the 80s, this Sturdy Sweats Bassett Walker. But most stuff, like lighter stuff, if it has staining issues, like go ahead and bleach it. Like it's not like this is $1 million shirt. And so don't be scared.
If it's sitting in a pile not listed because it's dirty and has stains, what the hell are you going to hurt if you bleach it and it doesn't come out right?
Like I get it. If it's a shirt that that maybe you can sell for hundreds or $1,000, like I understand, and I'm not trying to like get after you, Tommy, but I'm just saying, like, let the fear go, because for the most part, there's nothing you're going to do to hurt anything, even if it ends up altering the color, which I have a couple that I'll show you. Sometimes it's worth it. I got a Yale one, which I think this is the first Yale thing I've gotten. It's Yale Bulldogs.
Yale Bulldogs.
And again, I bleached this because, like I say, this heather gray does not bleach. So you can bleach it to get stains and stuff like that out.
How much bleach does she put in? I'm telling you,
I
probably like 2
it.
cups. She's got the gallons, and she just chugs it.
Oh yeah, I do it all wrong, guys. I do it all wrong because they're like, be careful. It's got to be like this. It's like whatever, guys. I freaking dump it in there. Our laundry has like a pre-soak method. I let the water run, and as soon as it stops, I open it up and I pour in a bunch of bleach, and then it like agitates, and then it soaks, and then it washes. And I do double rinse it because there's a lot of bleach in there, guys. I kind of go a little crazy.
She does. She probably uses far more than is necessary. So don't you be afraid, because you're probably actually going to read the bleached instructions or maybe put a capful or 2 in like most people would. No,
I want it to bleach.
She goes through a gallon of bleach a week. I kid you not.
Oh yeah, at least. And then this awesome. I got this one from Enrique. I'm not Herb. Now I don't remember this ad campaign. This is a
Herb,
clearly 1986 Burger King. So maybe somebody out there, I didn't have a TV in my house in 1986, so I wouldn't have seen this particular ad campaign. But it says I'm not Herb.
Some of us had sheltered lives.
Yeah. My life was not sheltered. I just didn't have a TV in my house. And this is the tag. My shirt's made in the USA. This is one I bleached. I went ahead and bleached it. It's in great shape. It's got some normal wear and fading on it, but it looks great. Again, I paid $10 for this, which I think is a fantastic deal. So
she uses liquid now. Yeah, she doesn't. She switched from the bleach tabs to straight ass bleach now. And trust me, yes, when she's bleaching, Corey's been in the house. Like the whole house smells like I'll tell you, our house always smells like it's super clean, whether it's clean or not. It always smells clean because it smells like bleach for 2 days.
I haven't even been bothered. Like the Oxy definitely works too, but I haven't been bothering with it as much because I'm impatient. I can just bleach the crap out of it.
I use the Oxy because there's nothing that I sell that I'm going to put straight bleach. Yeah. Maybe one item a month.
I'll show one more before I go back to you. This is another one I got. I got this from Enrique. He has a really cool Monday night live that he does as a Dutch auction, which means the person auctioning off their stuff starts at the highest price they're willing to let something go, or the highest price that they want to start at, they hope to get for something, and then they go down until somebody steps in and says they want it, but then they'll pull it if it doesn't get sold. So this I got for $20. I believe this is a high school, Paris Tigers, but it's such a cool design. This is from.
Now this she would not bleach.
I bleached it. This is the thing, guys. This is what I'm telling you.
I wouldn't have thought you could bleach.
You can bleach this because this is printed on here. So the print does not bleach.
That's so crazy.
The print does not bleach. So I bleached this and whitened it up.
This is got to be a university because it says 1993 University Sportswear on the back. So
okay. Anyway, Paris Tigers, either a university or a high school, and it's on a Tennessee River tag. And I got it for $20, and I'll probably start it at like 100, sell it for 65. It's at the lowest, but just a really cool Oliver print. Oliver prints.
See, she bleached that.
I bleached it.
I wouldn't have bleached that.
I bleached it. Pop Rocket.
We probably do need gas masks. We usually have the windows open.
Well, and we are
in the back door.
Well, and our washer and dryer are in like a closet, and so it has a fan in it. So I will actually turn the fan on and shut it, and that keeps it from being too crazy bleachy. Anyway, go ahead.
Let's see. So I'm going to just show some clothing things. I think I'll just go right through this, and then that will be all I have for today. Let's see. I picked this dress up for $5. This is just a vintage yellow dress with, Cheryl, wait for it, that modesty panel at the V-neck. We just talked about that today. It's kind of it's got a drop waist with accordion pleats. So This is very, very 80s right here. Late 80s with a little geometric print, mid to late 80s, and it has some shoulder pads. It's fierce, y'all. But here's what I wanted to talk about. So there are certain colors that are colors for the year in general when people in the fashion industry, fashion and style and design pick out certain colors for the year. This color for the year is actually, this year is yellow. So yellow stuff is going to sell really well. So keep an eye out for yellow items. And this is just a pretty yellow vintage 80s dress. I paid $5. I think I will probably, this will probably be one of my $69.99 price points.
That is full on 80s right there.
It is full 80s. So this is something I picked up. I went through the kids section today, and I don't know why. I just did because I don't know why. I went through the kids section. I don't usually buy kids clothing. And I'm glad that I did because this was in the kids section, and this is not a kids item. So this is a Victorian vintage capelet or shawl.
Ooh.
It's not real Victorian. It's just it's Victorian style. It's not from the Victorian era.
I've been wanting to pick up a capelet.
It was about $11, and it's made by a company called Elsie Massey. Very small company, but this should sell for about $100. And I just picked it up because it was very pretty and clearly detailed. This would be gorgeous on someone for, Victorian reenactment, costumes, period clothing.
Do you want me to model it for you?
Oh, no. Wedding dress, to go over a wedding dress, anything like that. It's really, really pretty. And it stood out to me. So I'm glad that I stopped in the kids section. That'll sell for about $100.
Crazy. Capelet. See, they want me to model it.
No.
Deb does.
No.
Or Mel.
Picked up a yet another Hawaiian dress, a little moo-moo, if you will. This one was pretty cheap. I only paid $4 for it. That's why I grabbed another one. But these are staples. These sell all the time, very easily. If I can find them for under $10, I'm always going to grab them. This one's just got a nice, bright hibiscus print in pink and like green and burgundy. This is vintage. The green and the burgundy leads me to believe that this is late 80s, early 90s. It's made in Hawaii. Green and burgundy are like the hunter green and burgundy colors are like super 90s. But either way, it's vintage, made in the USA, and I'll probably list it for like $50. The smaller ones sell for like $35 to $45, but if you start getting into the extra large and larger, the really big muumuus, you're going to get $60 to $75 for them just based on size. They're harder to find bigger ones, and they're more popular when they're bigger. Let's see. Any questions in the chat? Clown muumuu. Not quite a clown muumuu, but this actually came from Katy's death pile.
My death pile of 3 things.
Her death pile of she will buy certain things and put them to the side and think she's going to list them. And then it comes to realize she really hates listing jackets. She does not, and not as much as she hates pants. Pants she won't even buy. Jackets she buys with the intention of listing.
I listened to a jacket last week.
And then they sit there and she really has no interest in them. So if she's not interested in it, she's not going to photograph it and list it. And it sits in a pile. And occasionally when she cleans her office out, I get the benefit of those piles.
But again, my death pile was literally 3 items. And I gave them
I didn't pay anything for this. This was a Katy gift. This is vintage 1980s. Guess. George Marciano. Guess. Made in Taiwan. It's a bomber jacket, which doesn't look like much from the front. Just a basic plain black bomber jacket in like windbreaker style. Like crinkly windbreaker. But the back has a super fun, cool American flag and Guess spell out on the back. So I'll probably list it for $129.95, and it'll probably sell in the $60 to $75 range is what I think.
Colleen wants to know what the correct spelling is for muumuu. How do you make sure that you're getting
it? Is MUUMUU.
Do you ever put the other spellings in?
If I fit it in the title, I will put MUMU and MUUMUU. And I also put caftan, Hawaiian dress. Those are all going in the title, all of those words.
Nice.
Patty says, do I buy the ones not made in Hawaii or not made in the USA? Generally not. I don't buy current Hawaiian muumuus. I will buy only vintage, and those are generally going to be made in Hawaii or made in the United States.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
And I just have 3 more things. This is another one I actually found. This I paid $10 for. I'm not sure what. Oh, Baronessa. I haven't looked this up.
Ooh, Baronessa.
The brand is Baronessa. It's very 60s. It's a very 60s lined sweater coat. So it's long. This is going to go like mid-thigh sweater coat with the V-neck. It's very nicely made.
I like the color.
And the big gold buttons. The color is kind of like a mazy, orangey color with like different colored flecks in it.
Yeah, the flex. It's hard to see.
I haven't researched this, but this is something, it was made in Scotland, and it is a Scottish tweed which also adds value right there. It's a vintage size 18, which will probably equate to like a large, like a current size large. And it looks like a larger size. So again, plus size vintage clothing or larger size vintage clothing is harder to find. So that means this will probably sell very well. This is very 1960s. And I think it's going to sell, I'm going to put it in the $150 price range.
Nice.
I haven't, again, I haven't looked it up. It might be a brand that commands more money. That's the only time it'll go higher. But I'm not going to put it lower regardless of what the brand says, if that makes sense. Because for me, it's worth every bit of that $100 to $150 start. So unless I price it out very quickly and I look and see that that particular brand is selling for $600 and I'll quickly adjust higher, that's where I go. But I don't base my comps based on brand name to go lower, if that makes sense.
Well, especially now that your pictures are like stock quality.
Right?
Come on.
This is another fun one. This one I paid $8 for. This is a dead stock men's blazer. So it's really nice. This one is another one that's very, very nicely really made. Cool. The lining is super fantastic. It's fully lined.
Fancy.
Kind of a tiki-ish pattern on the inside. And then the outside is this kind of like mod pattern. This is very 60s, late 60s, 70s type of thing. It's a wool blazer, and the brand didn't bring up a lot, but I didn't quite look too fast. It's just a really nicely made one. This one, again, I'm going to price this one pretty high.
Yeah, it's nice.
It has some very nice tailoring details on the back. So yeah, this is not just your basic men's blazer.
It's brand new.
And it is brand new. And it has, as I have learned from our friend Rick Dorn, it has what are called working surgeon cuffs. Surgeon cuffs are when they have the buttons on the cuffs that you can actually unbutton. Not that anybody really does that, but you can unbutton them. And it's good for if you want to roll the blazer up. And the last thing I got was something I purchased today. So it does need to be washed, and I have it like on my lap. Oh, really? You don't get to do that. So just a vintage, typical acrylic blanket, but it is a beater lack, and it is a Southwest style, Southwestern design.
I like it. I like the colors.
It's super soft. It actually smells like laundry detergent.
Oh, that's good.
So it's probably comes from a clean environment. I think I'll wash it anyway.
That's good. That's good.
And that's it. I paid about $3 for that. And that's one that is fairly common. That's probably like a $60 to $70 blanket.
R1, J1 list, XX small and X small. Those sizes sell well. I would say they move slower. I will still pick up something if I think it's super cool and interesting and unique. I'll still pick it up if it's really super small. And obviously, because I sell vintage t-shirts, that happens a lot, especially 80s ones. And then if you go to the 70s, it's like, geez, they're tiny. But they definitely move slower. That probably the most popular sizes are like extra large, extra large.
It does depend on what you're selling too.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. So I sell a lot of vintage clothing, and the majority of the women's vintage clothing is going to be extra small or small that I find. And so it does still sell, even though the most popular average size for a woman in the United States is like a 14 right now, maybe 16. It might even be that big. I'm not sure. And again, I'm not fat shaming. I'm a chubby girl myself. It is what it is. We're bigger as a human race than we were, call it hormones or GMOs, and
we like to eat a lot.
Whatever. We're not as active as we once were. All of those things are facts, that the average size is larger than it was 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. So clothing as a whole is smaller from those decades. But people that buy vintage clothing and wear vintage clothing, they know that. So a lot of vintage clothing people are going to be looking for it. They're already the correct size to be wearing it.
So again, like I will still pick when it comes to like t-shirts, I'll still pick up really small sizes if the price is good. But
they're going to sell to Japan for you most of the time.
But if it's a bigger size, let's say it's an XL, it's really nice measurements. I'm going to be more
good
willing.
Good
measures. I'm going to be willing to pay up more, if that makes sense. But I'm not going to turn something down just because it's small. Okay,
so that's all I got to show for the day.
That's all you got.
That's all I got.
I got this awesome This is from yesterday's fits. This is an Oregon Coast t-shirt. So of course it's Keiko, Free Willy, Keiko from Oregon, the killer whale, the orca. It's a really nice shirt. I like it. It's really soft. I think it is clean. All my stuff is clean. But it's a great graphic on it. I like any whale shirts, but this particular one, because it's Keiko and it's on the Frugal Loom tag right there. So it's probably like early 90s, this particular one. But yeah, I paid probably like $10 for this. I'll sell it for at least 50. At least 50. I got this. I picked this up from yesterday's fits. This is Rusted Root. Rusted Root, the band. This one, it's like I'm not really sure. Like the comps are kind of all over the place, but they'll probably price this at like $100. It's a really nice. The shirt itself is really nicely faded evenly, and it's a nice big size.
Did it start as black?
Anvil tag. It's an XL. No, it's dyed. You can tell by the tag.
No, it's green then. Okay, I'm like
it's kind of a dark green.
I couldn't tell if it started as black and it faded to that kind of greenish color, but no, I guess it started as green.
So, but anyway, just a cool shirt. Probably paid like $15-20 for it. I haven't looked this up yet. I don't know what it is exactly. Somebody out there probably does. I'm sure that a good Google search will help. Privet house. I don't know. It's this hog.
Maybe it's supposed to be
his butt
described. It's supposed to be pronounced as private, even though it's spelled privet.
So I said privet. I don't know if this is some sort of like military thing. I'm not entirely sure. It's from 1990. It's on a Hanes tag, so you can see
it's like a warthog.
This is how you learn your tags. This is like a late 80s, early 90s tag. And this particular one says 1990.
1990.
Yep. That's what I just said. And but it's just I like the graphic, so I paid like probably $15 for this, $10-15 for it. I'll sell it for at least 50. This one I paid up a little bit for. I think I paid like $50 for this because this is an absolutely destroyed t-shirt. An 80s Space City, Buds from Space. It has holes. It is
Can you see all the holes? I don't think they can see the holes.
Hold on. Let me see.
It is so worn you can see
There
through
are holes.
both layers of this shirt.
Yeah, here, turn it back around. Yeah, you can see like, look at that. And there's holes all over it.
Like so, if I pulled on this, it would rip to shreds.
Yeah, it's just absolutely destroyed. Single stitch. Again, it's on that same Hanes tag, and this particular one is dated 1986. California Home Growers Association. So this is like I'm assuming like a weed t-shirt, but it's from 1986. So it's kind of it's some
early basement
California Home Growers Association, Buds from Space.
Some California basement growers.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty cool
from the 80s.
It's pretty awesome. Again, I paid $50 for it. I have no idea what I'm going to price this one for because I feel like it's pretty unique, and there's some stoner out there who's going to love this, and it's all of its terrible, destroyed condition. So I don't know. Maybe I'll sell it for $150. We'll see. This one's really interesting. I got this from yesterday's fits. It's not it's on this Yazbek tag, which is not really vintage. I mean, it's made in Mexico, but Yazbek, the brand, is from Mexico. So that doesn't really tell you anything as far as dating goes. So I would guess this is like 2000s sometime. It is double stitch. It is the band.
Dance, do the dance, do the hump. I don't even know the words. I do, baby.
Anyway, Digital Underground. I had this album.
Watch me do the Humpty Hump.
I had this album on cassette. I remember I had the Digital Underground album. Vikki talks about me living a sheltered life because I didn't have TV. But let me tell you, my parents, for some reason, paid no attention to the books I read or the music I listened to. And I had this album at home. And it's got a cool spell out going down the sleeve here. Digital Underground. But clearly this is not from...
Where's Allison with the line from the song that I'm not going to sing on the show?
I don't know. But
I'm surprised she's not putting that in the chat.
But
favorite number.
The thing about this shirt is, like I said, it's clearly not vintage because it's not going to be from when this album came out, which would have been like the early mid 90s. But it could be like, 10 so years old, but it's still pretty cool. And I still am going to like pay, charge up for it, or I'll see if I can even find any others, but it's a cool shirt. Come on. That's some 90s stuff right there.
It's totally 90s. I feel like our chat stopped somewhere. Did you guys all stop talking?
No,
What
you're
happened?
still right there. Look.
Okay. Yeah, where's Jacob Michael
Here,
when
let
you
me
need
move this
him?
over here for you, Blindy.
Thank you.
He needs to be singing over here.
I know Sandra's not here singing. No Jennifer, no Jacob, and no Sandra. And I think Allison ducked out. So all 4 of you people that keep the chat dirty and laughing, you're all gone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's happening.
All right, so this T-shirt right here is, and this is what I got from Enrique.
They're all Googling private house.
This is actually for this is a Germany shirt. You can see the German country right there and see how it's like
of the country.
The outline of the country. So October 3rd, 1990. And if you remember, 1989 is when the Berlin Wall fell, but it was on October 3rd, 1990 that the 2 parts of Germany, East and West, officially came back together to be a one whole country. And so this shirt, I'm not really sure because it's like obviously the tag is all worn and it's obviously not an American tag. It is double stitched, but based on like the feel and the rest of the construction of the shirt, I would still say this is probably a 90s shirt.
That's another, I just wanted to point out a vintage thing. So that's another thing, like when you're finding clothing or items that have tags on them that say made in West Germany, know that it is vintage because West Germany ceased to exist in October of 1990.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that says West Germany is by nature vintage.
Yes, absolutely. Like you'll see old Adidas stuff that will be made in West Germany. Anyway, so I would say this shirt is probably from sometime in the mid 90s. It's nice and soft. It feels really good. But I really love the graphic on it. I think it's cool. So.
What you find a lot of tchotchkes and a lot of figurines and things like that say that they're made in West Germany. And then there are certain types of clothing and clothing brands that say West Germany as well. But I was thinking more hard goods than clothing. But yes, music boxes.
Leah's singing one of my favorite songs. I actually am buying the T-shirt that she was wearing on Instagram. I told her that she can hang on to it until we go through there in April, so she can take it for a few more spins around the block.
Nice.
But it's a really awesome 70s Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. See the face she makes, Leah?
Because she sings all flippin' day long.
It's such an awesome shirt. It's such a cool shirt. Anyway, this one is another one I got from Enrique. Want to squeeze Bacardi rum and orange juice T-shirt. I love it. It's got a really cool, like bright graphic front and back. The back says Bacardi Squeeze, and the front just says "Wanna Squeeze." But I think this is a super cute shirt from the 80s, and it's in great condition. Now, if you remember from last week's show, I was lamenting how I'd only found like 3 T-shirts, and the only one of them was really any good, and it was the one that had the F word all over it. Well, on our way home, we stopped at a thrift store,
a super tiny, crappy Deseret.
And I went and looked.
And I usually love Deseret. Yeah. This was bad.
I went and looked through all the men's T-shirts, nothing.
Riverside.
And so then I went and looked through the women's T-shirts, and that's where sometimes, especially Deseret, I have really good luck with finding really cool vintage T-shirts in the women's section. And this one, Vikki thinks
not Riverside. Sorry, I keep trying to say it was Ukaipa. We were Ukaipa.
Vikki thinks it's ridiculous. I love it. It's pretty much a dead stock T-shirt. I bet Leah will like it. Anyway, this is a Wild Turkey T-shirt, too good to gobble. And it's awesome. It's like pretty much dead stock. You can see the tag there to the select T. And so this is basically my only really good score when we went to California. But I love it. I think it's really effing cute. It was like $2. But
thank you for that information, Tony. We'll check that. We'll fix that link on our Amazon supply list.
Yeah.
The projector screen is a dead link. So
okay.
Need to go in and review that. Thank you for that.
All right. I'm going to skip a couple here. The show's running long. But
I wonder why.
You shut your mouth. But here's one that you really like. You like rarities in general, but this one's really cute. Got this one from Enrique. Hot Dog Johnny's.
I love that one too.
In good old Buttsville, New Jersey. But
I think that's hysterical.
so speaking of bleaching, guys,
Again, if I didn't have such huge boobs, I would wear t-shirts all the time like this. I think they're fun.
this had some light staining, and I went ahead and bleached the bejesus out of it. And you'll see it's got the green ringer, and it actually didn't really do much. It lightened it up a little bit. It's not as,
But it didn't ruin it.
It's not as vibrant of a green, but it totally cleaned it up, and it looks really awesome now.
Buttsville, New Jersey. Is that
Buttsville.
seriously the
I don't
name
know.
of a town?
I
Is that a real town?
like eating hot dogs in Buttsville. Okay.
Colleen says it's close to us. It's very, very popular.
All right. Cool.
There you go. Price it up.
All right.
Price it up.
Here's another bleaching thing. So the same place where I found the F word T-shirt. It was the first thrift store we went to, and I actually found a couple of vintage T-shirts there.
Glenda. Sorry. Glenda.
Hi, Glenda.
Hi, Glenda.
Anyway, so I actually found another T-shirt there that I thought was awesome until I looked in the light and realized it had red dye, red staining all over it. Like somebody had washed it with some red, because it has red on it, but the red is the print, so it wouldn't have bled. So they must have had it stored with something or washed it with something red, and I was really, really bummed about it. So I went ahead and I was like, you know what, F it. I'm gonna bleach the crap out of it and see what happens. Well, the collar was black, but it became kind of a purpley brown, I would say.
That's what it fades to sometimes.
It kind of fades to, but it's a nice even fade, so whatever. Anyway, check this out. It's got like brownie. These are like the velvety iron-on lettering. Notice that did not bleach at all, so that stayed perfectly fine. All the red came out
Every
of
time
it.
I see that Hot Lips, I think Hot Lips Houlihan from MASH. I can't think of.
Yeah.
Right? Again, I'm old apparently because I'm talking about old crap today.
Well, so. Hot Lips, I never really liked the show, but the original MASH movie, loved it. And in the back, it says, I ate the whole thing. So, and again, there's no red on it anymore.
I don't know what that means either.
There's no red on it anymore. The bleach worked perfectly. I was able to wash it, bleach it. I would have tried like a color catcher also, but I don't really know what it was. Anyway, I don't know. This could be, is it Hot Lips Pizza? Because Hot Lips Pizza started in the 80s. Which is
what the heck is Hot Lips Pizza?
It's a pizza chain in Oregon. But this is an 80s tag. So it could be, maybe it's Hot Lips Pizza. I don't know. Does it have something to do with Rolling Stones, except that the mouth is backwards? Does it have something to do with MASH? I don't know. Probably not. It's just a curious thing, but it's definitely an 80s
Apparently
t-shirt.
Leah wants that one.
Yeah. So there you go.
How much are you going to sell it for?
I don't know. We'll talk about it. I might be willing.
She didn't ask that. I'm saying.
I know, and I might be willing to do a trade. So we'll talk.
A MASH Rolling Stones combo. I know, right? It's so random.
All right, so that's it, guys. Again, if you are looking for some bulk vintage T-shirts, seriously, hit up Enrique. I put his thing down below. It's fine and dandy throwback on Instagram. Just message him. Tell him I sent you. He has a ridiculous amount of vintage tees, and he's always trying to get rid of stuff. He's always trying to get me to do bulk buys. And I guarantee you, if you say, hey, I'm looking to buy a ton of stuff, $5 a tee, what do you got? I guarantee you he'll hook you up, and he's a good dude. Anyway, yeah, the brownie is those are velvet letters. Anything else?
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
Nope. I'm just reminding you to fix the projector link when we get off this.
Okay,
show.
I will do that. Well, that's the thing. It's. I think I've fixed it a couple of times now. If it sells out, then it's no longer a good link. So, anyway, we're gonna go ahead and sign off. And you're already scrolling Facebook.
I'm done. I'm out. Signing out.
She's like, "Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo." We will see you guys later. We'll see you next Sunday.
Alright, stop.
Collaborate and listen.
Ice is back with my brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me lightly.
Like a hawk, daily and nightly.
All right.
Go to stop.
All right. See you guys later. Bye.